Hello there and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about patch 11.05, WoW's 20th anniversary. This is the first patch of the War Within expansion, and it is a 0.5 patch with just a ton of stuff. Now this video is probably going to be super long, so apologies for that. I'll try and keep it as brief as possible while still giving you the details you need. But before we jump into all of the things coming in patch 11.05, just want to shout out my Twitch, twitch.tv/MrGM. If you want to see me stream World of Warcraft, War Within, and more, I'm over on twitch.tv/MrGM. Right, so yes, patch 11.05 is coming, and it is coming extremely soon, with the release date being announced as October 22nd in the NA region and October 23rd in the EU. This was heavily rumored through some calendar entries in early PTR, so it seems like those dates were actually official. Now, the main thing in this patch is, of course, WoW's 20th anniversary, but this is a 0.5 patch, and there are some other changes as well. So let's start with WoW's 20th anniversary. So WoW's 20th anniversary will begin on patch day and is currently scheduled to end on January 6th or January 7th, depending on your region. So that's 77 days of this event and presumably 77 days of this patch, I guess. Now, the majority of the events will take place outside the canvas of time in a brand new camp, and there'll be various activities happening on rotation. One of these events is Mount Mania. So this is a mount-off competition that you may have seen on some popular streams. Basically, what you're going to do here is copy the mount that's shown. Now, this could be literally any mount, including rare TCG mounts or mythic mounts or anything like that. And this will be 15 rounds, and you'll be competing against people around you. The winner is whoever has the most mounts. One of the other activities outside the canvas of time is also just Lorewalker Cho telling stories. There are 3 stories. You have the Heroes of the Scarab Wall, the Tragedy of Thracian, and the Mercy of Blaine Bloodhoof. And what you do here is just sit in the crowd and react to the stories. And the final event that will be in rotation is Fashion Frenzy. This is a trial of style like event with one theme where you're competing against everyone around you. Once everyone's done their transmog, you actually go around and vote for the ones you like the most, and then the winner is the one with the most votes. Also, as well, you have a new Secrets of Azeroth type event, which will start a week later, with even more secrets opening a week after that. As of right now, there are 4 chapters to this and 9 local secrets involved with this Secrets of Azeroth event. And also, there's just various random things you could do around the canvas of time, like an ice rink or a photo booth, or transform into your battle pet. You could also transform into iconic WoW characters by clicking certain items around the event, which is super fun. And just around the event will be various characters from WoW history, just interacting and having a good time and celebrating World of Warcraft. Also involved with this event is a new queuable 15-man scenario called the Codex of Chromie. This is a short scenario which takes place in Silithus, where you're basically flying around and fighting out-of-time creatures around the map. This will end with a boss as well. The reward for this will be Valorstone's Crest and a chance at Warbound Adventurer gear. So yeah, that's really interesting and just like a random little thing to do on the side. Throughout the duration of the event, your reputation and XP gains will be increased by 10%, but this can be increased to 20% by completing a simple quest at the canvas of time. This will give you an extra 10% for 12 hours, and the quest will reset when that 12 hours is up. So essentially you have a 20% XP and rep buff for a couple months. Also, with WoW's 20th anniversary, there'll be some new world bosses. So there are 3 world bosses in Tanaris. You'll have the returning Doomwalker from previous years, but now you'll have Archivon the Stonewatcher and the Shah of Anger in Tanaris to kill. These 3 bosses all have a chance to drop their respective mounts: the Illidari Doomhawk, the Reigns of the Black War Mammoth, and the Reigns of the Heavenly Onyx Cloud Serpent, but they'll also have a chance to drop veteran gear for you. Also returning world bosses: Lord Kazak, Azuragos, and the Dragons and Nightmares. There's also a weekly quest to complete to kill these bosses, so make sure you're doing that. And of course, just like any other event, there is a brand new currency. This is Bronze Celebration tokens. So these are warbound, transferable with no cap. Now these are rewarded from one-time quests, daily and weekly quests outside the canvas of time, and weekly quests and activities in Kaz Algar. Now at the start, you're not going to get a ton of these, but once you've collected 100, various repeatable activities will actually start giving you more tokens. So you will actually get quite a few of these once you've kind of reached that first 100, which should happen within the first week or 2 of collecting this currency. And of course, with the new currency, there are new rewards. So you may have seen it, but they are actually making new tier 2 sets to the fidelity of 2024 World of Warcraft. These all look amazing, and they actually have featured all of the classes, even ones that weren't around when Tier 2 came out, which is awesome. One of these sets will cost you 60 Bronze Celebration tokens. However, once you've purchased one of them, the second one will be 40 40 tokens, and then all subsequent sets after that will be 20. You can of course purchase the other sets for different classes as you would anything else, but yeah, there are a ton of sets to collect, so this is going to be kind of your main thing you're going to be buying. But also there are Blizzard themed rewards, so the employees of Blizzard do actually get rewards for how long they've been at Blizzard, and now you can actually purchase in-game versions of these. You have a sword, you have a back piece, you have a shield, you have a helm, and you even have a toy which gives you a ring, which is amazing. So those are purchasable also with the Bronze Celebration tokens, as well as old anniversary rewards. So all of the old rewards from the previous anniversaries are returning, such as the Corehound Chain Mount, the Little Nefarian Pet, the Molten Corgi, the Elixir Whelpling, Hate Spark the Tiny, the Baby Blizzard Bear, and the Obsidian Worldbreaker Mount. So you can purchase all of those old rewards if you missed them the first time around. As well, there is actually a new vendor for titles, so these will cost you 100 Time Walk badges each and will give you titles for each of the expansions. So if you really love Shadowlands, you can show that off with a brand new title, or Northrend, or Outland, or Cataclysm, or any of the expansions of World of Warcraft. These are purchasable with 100 Time Walk badges, which is cool. And the final item you will get during this event, during the November trading post, will be these awesome Warcraft 3 inspired back pieces. There's one for the Orcs, Humans, Night Elf, and Scourge. So those will be the monthly reward for the November trading post during the 20th anniversary event. As well, with the 20th anniversary, there are various different achievements. There's actually like 28 or so achievements for this event just to do various activities. A lot of these are quite easy and achievable, which is nice. And there's also a new meta achievement which does reward the Cold Flame Tempest mount, which is a new Phoenix Skyriding mount. So yeah, make sure you're completing that meta achievement for the WoW's 20th anniversary. So that's kind of the main stuff for the anniversary event, but then there's anniversary adjacent things like classic time walking. Yes, vanilla WoW time walking is coming to the game. Now this is a part of WoW's 20th anniversary, but it will be added to the regular time walking rotation after the event, which is really cool. During this event, of course, classic reputation gains from combat and quests will be increased by 50%. So if you have some of those reps you want to get, that will be increased by 50%. The dungeons in classic time walking are the original Deadmines, so this is the original version with Mr. Smite and Van Cleef, and the Cataclysm versions of Zul'Farrak, Diamol East, Diamol West, Strathhome Living, and Strathhome Undead. So 6 dungeons will be in the rotation for classic time walking. It's a bit of the shame that most of them are the Cataclysm versions, but it will be nice to go back to them. There are going to be some new items added as well, just to fill some of the gaps in itemization, but there isn't going to be any particular new appearances. Of course, as well, with classic time walking, we will get a vendor. This vendor does sell a brand new mount called the Reigns of the Freyfeather Hippogriff, which is a low-res blue hippogriff, a skywriding mount. It also sells things like Savory Diva Delight and Noggadfogger, but also Mohawk grenades will be returning in classic time walking. The vendor will also sell a toy which gives you the effect of the Ravager and has some brand new classic looking items like this awesome shield and various new versions of rare vanilla WoW items, so like world drop items and things like that. These are not the same item ID, however they are the same appearance. This does include some removed items from vanilla WoW as well, so make sure you're picking up those with your Time Warp badges. This vendor also does sell reputation tokens for vanilla reputations. Now, this did originally include the PvP reps, those have since been removed. However, a lot of the vanilla reps are here, including some removed reps like the Zandalar tribe. So if you have that kind of sitting on your reputation tab, you can finally get exalted with the Zandalar tribe with classic time walking. Another change for time walking in patch 11.05 is that all time walking for all expansions will now start at level 10. Previously, this was like 25, 30, 35, etc. But no, for all expansions, it will now start at 10 and scale all the way up to level 80. Now, the other change that's coming with this is that time walking will now scale to your level instead of you scaling to it. So if you queue into a Wrath time walking at level 80, all of the mobs and the bosses and everything like that will be level 80, and that goes for any other level. If you're 55 going into Burning Crusade time walking, those mobs are going to be level 55. This is similar scaling to what we've seen in Chromie time, and Blizzard's justification for this is that it just makes it a lot easier for them to scale and balance time walking. However, one change that's also come with this is the fact that time walking sets are now dead. Yeah, you won't be able to use your Heart of Azeroth, you won't be able to use your Azerite gear, or old trinkets, or legendaries, or anything like that, unless you are that level. So if you're level 80 and you put on your Heart of Azeroth, it's still going to be at the same level it was in Battle for Azeroth. So this is obviously a bit of a devastating change for people who have built up, you know, your time walking bis and you're smashing the meters in every single time walking. That's no longer going to happen. You're literally just going to be wearing the gear you have equipped. So yeah, pretty similar to how it worked, I believe, in Mr. Pandaria Remix. So this also means that level 10s will probably be super overpowered in these time walkings, but that's yet to see. We haven't really done a ton of testing on that on the PTR, but yes, time walking will now scale to you instead of you scaling to it. However, one change which is unaffected is the time walking mage tower. So if you do have some gear for the time walking mage tower, this will be unchanged and will still scale correctly how it does right now. Beyond that though, we are getting some updates to the vendors in time walkings. So it seems like all of the vendors for previous time walking events are getting some new items. As of right now, we're unable to check all of the events, but we have checked Wrath of the Lich King, which is getting 33 brand new cosmetics, ranging from mounts to weapons to gear sets and things like that, which is awesome. And Burning Crusade time walking is getting 26 new items, which are just a bunch of like unused appearances and things like that, which is awesome. These are additional items, so all of the previous items are not going away. These will just be on top of those. And as mentioned, there are a couple new mounts. So you have the Enchanted Spellweave Carpet for Wrath of the Lich King time walking and the Armani Hunting Bear for Burning Crusade time walking. But yeah, we're not sure on Cataclysm, Legion, Warlords of Draenor right now because those have not been tested on the PTR as of yet. But it looks like a lot of the vendors are getting a bunch of new items, which is exciting. Another thing coming in patch 11.05, which we're not sure is sticking around or not, is a brand new Blackrock Depths raid. So this is a fully fledged raid with new mechanics and new bosses coming in Raid Finder, Normal, and Heroic mode. Now, the way to enter this raid on Normal and Heroic mode is just to speak to Moira outside the Canvas of Time. This is a really fun raid with some awesome mechanics and has 8 main bosses. You have Lord Rokkar, Belgar, Lord Incendius, Golem Lord Argylmak, the Seven, General Angerforge, Ambassador Flamelash, and Emperor Dagran Thracian. Also as well, you have 5 mini-bosses sprouted around the raid. Now, the loot here is the same item level as the Nurabar Palace. Now, these items are not new appearances, but of course they will be at the item level of current level raids. So Raid Finder will be dropping Veteran loot, which starts at 584. Normal mode will drop champion loot starting at 597, and then heroic mode will drop hero track loot starting at item level 610. On top of that, there's also a bullion type system with time warped relic coffer keys. So these drop on each difficulty and you can collect 120 per difficulty. Now these keys are used to purchase any item in the raid, costing 40 keys. So you can get 3 items from each difficulty guaranteed from a vendor, which can sell any item from the raid. Now each main boss drops anywhere from 3 to 4 keys, with mini bosses dropping 1 to 2. So you're going to get a lot of these keys, and just being able to purchase the gear you want is just a fantastic system. It's really fun to see it come back. So yeah, Blackrock Depths is coming in 11.05, and I'm super looking forward to it. It's just going to be so good for like alt catch up, and just if you want to change up your raid night to Blackrock Depths instead of Nurabar Palace, because it also does give you credit towards your Great Vault. So that's all the kind of WoW 20th anniversary stuff. Let's talk about some other things coming in this patch, like updates to Dracthyr. So Dracthyr are getting an extension of classes. So for the Dracthyr in 11.05, you will be able to create a Dracthyr warrior, hunter, with the default pet being the Vorquin, a rogue, mage, priest, and a Dracthyr warlock. Of course, you will still be able to make an evoker as well. So you're probably sitting there wondering what's happening with the racials. The racials for the Dracthyr evoker are pretty damn good. So let's talk about what is happening with these new classes. So these new classes will continue to have visage form and choose identity. However, one big change for the new classes is that they will be able to completely play in visage form. You will not have to transform into a dragon at all if you do not want to. The evoker class, however, will be unchanged, and you will continue to transform into a dragon while playing that class. However, the other classes, you can be visage the entire time, which is awesome. And that's also a great change because the Dracthyr dragon model is actually not getting any updates in regards to Transmog. So all of the options that are there right now, like the default armor through the barbershop and whatnot, are there to stay. So yeah, it's going to be a bit jarring maybe being a Dracthyr mage with like male looking armor on. So hopefully that's something they change in the future. But as of right now, the dragon form for the Dracthyr will remain exactly the same in regards to customization. Also, all of these classes will have glide, which essentially means all of them will have a double jump. Yep. Yep, you can use that as much as you like. You can hop around and glide and double jump and do whatever you want on your warriors, hunters, rogues, mages, priests, and warlocks. That's pretty cool. Also, of course, they will have Soar, which will transform them into a dragon. However, when you do land, you'll turn back into your Visage form. This does function exactly the same as it does right now. However, there is a brand new ability coming to the Dracthyr race called Squadron Flying. So this is enabled through the Sky Riding talents. When this is cast, if you have some Dracthyr nearby you, they will automatically join you on your flight. This does work with Sky Riding and Steady Flying as well. So if you're standing next to a Dracthyr friend and you use Soar, they essentially hop on with you, so you basically become a 3-person sky riding mount. Obviously these players can hop in or hop out as much as they like, but yeah, you can fly around with your squad. It looks really cool, it's a great visual, but yeah, automatically joining you could be a little bit trolly there, but yeah, we'll have to see. You will have to enable it though, obviously. But a cool change to Soar. The 2 passive racial abilities, Awakened, which increases your mastery, and Discerning Eye, which increases your perception, are staying for the new Dracthyr classes. So Wing Buffet is staying as a racial for the Dracthyr. This is the knockback ability. However, there are some changes to the cooldown. It was previously 1.5 minutes. It has now been doubled to 3 minutes. So this is a 3-minute cooldown. And also you will be able to use this ability in Visage form and it won't transform you into a dragon. It does have a new visual as well with that. However, if you are an evoker, this is still going to turn you into your dragon form. The other active ability, Tail Swipe, is being removed on the new classes for the Dracthyr. This ability will now become baseline for Dracthyr Evokers, so it will continue to operate on the Evoker class. However, it will not be on the other classes like Hunter and Warrior, etc. So quite a lot of changes to the racials in regards to Wing Buffet and Tail Swipe. It's very nice to see Wing Buffet sticking around for the new classes. The removal of Tail Swipe was actually a recent change in a recent PTR build, but having that Wing Buffet racial on the new classes could very well make the Dracthyr race a very good choice for a lot of content. So let's also talk about the starting zone for these new classes. So these classes will start at level 10, however there won't be like a really long starting experience like you have for the Evoker. These classes just spawn into the Forbidden Reach, they have a very short quest line with some unique voice lines, and then they're set on their merry way to Ogrimmar or Stormwind depending on their faction. So just literally just a couple quests similar to like an allied race, and then off on their merry way. So yeah, some pretty great changes for the Dracthyr, finally getting some new class combinations for that race. The racial changes seem pretty reasonable for the most part. Really cool to see Glide and Soar still staying in there for them as well. So yeah, very much looking forward to seeing a lot more Dracthyr running about the place. Also in this patch, you are going to get a bunch of updates to Transmog and Transmog collecting, some changes that I am so excited for. So from 11.05, you will now be able to collect class-restricted Transmog. So all of those Tier 1, Tier 2 sets, all of the sets that are like class-restricted that you can't collect right now, will be able to be collected from 11.05. This was one of the final barriers of Warbound Transmog collection, and it's finally falling in 11.05, which is fantastic. Another huge change for collectors in 11.05 is that quest rewards will now give you all of the appearances when completing a quest. This was something we did see in early beta, but it didn't actually make its way to the live game, and 11.05 this is coming in, and this is also retroactive. So if you finish the quest in Northrend 10 years ago, when you log in 11.05, in theory, all of those appearances that you didn't collect from completing those quests will be rewarded to you. So this is a massive change for Transmog collectors, and I'm very much looking forward to it coming in 11.05. As well, with any patch in WoW, there are hero talent and class reworks. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these here because there's just so many of them, but if you are interested in seeing what your class is getting in 11.05, what changes and updates, I'll leave the patch notes in the description below. For me, as a hunter, very much looking forward to the Dart Ranger rework, which is coming in 11.05. Also, for shamans, they are getting some new Ascendance models, and this can be chosen by a glyph, which is purchasable from the Shaman Order Hall. Another change coming in 11.05, which is awesome, is a change to currency transfer. So now there is a max button when transferring your currencies, which is a nice quality of life addition, but also you'll now be able to transfer currencies on characters that have not previously discovered them. So they're adding a new drop down to select all. So if your character has never seen a currency before, that's okay because it will now list it and you'll be able to transfer currencies that you've not discovered. A fantastic change, and it's really cool to see it coming in so quickly into the War Within. Another change that I'm personally excited for in 11.05 is that the Dark Iron Dwarf Dwarf Mole Machine is getting some brand new updates. Now, this has not had any updates since, I believe, Battle for Azeroth, and with this racial, you are now getting 11 new locations spread across Battle for Azeroth, Shadowlands, and Dragonflight. So, yeah, finally some updates to the Dark Iron Mole Machine. Very cool to see. Can't wait to use my Mole Machine to go through different universes into the Shadowlands. So, yeah, super fun. A couple of changes as well to the character select screen. So now, as of 11.05, you'll be able to search characters by the realm name or the specialization name of a class, which is pretty cool. You'll also be able to hide the UI as well. There's a button in the bottom left, or you can press Ctrl-Z. Couple of updates to the Warband Bank in 11.05. So the big one here is that reagents in the Warband Bank can now be used for crafting orders, which is an awesome change. Also as well, when you press deposit all Warbound items, this will now deposit refundable items as well. And finally, in 11.05, another minor change is that the Undercoin vendor in Dawn of Gul will now sell some of the random drop rewards from Delves for Undercoins. So if you haven't got any of them or haven't had any luck, you can now purchase them with Undercoins. Not all of them, but certainly some of them, which is nice to see. So there you go. That is everything coming in patch 11.05, WoW's 20th anniversary. Pretty big, right? Like, now obviously the anniversary event is a major part of this, but the Transmog changes, the Dracthyr stuff, the Dark Iron stuff, the class reworks. This is actually a pretty big patch considering this is just 8.5. So yeah, guys, let me know down below what you're most excited for in patch 11.05. As mentioned, it is coming out super soon on October 22nd or October 23rd, depending on your region. So if you like this video, guys, please do leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to support me outside of YouTube, I'm also on Patreon and I'm on Twitter at MrGMYT, and I have a partner Discord channel as well. And as mentioned, I am streaming on twitch.tv/MrGM. If you do want to see me stream World of Warcraft, WoW's 20th anniversary, all that good stuff, I'm over on twitch.tv/MrGM. And with that, guys, I'll see you next time.